Hey, good evening, everybody. How you doing? It's Scott Gaines. Welcome back to another edition of the Live Lounge. Let's sit there and fix my camera there. Looks, it's just started to slip. It was just starting to rock back as it was counting down. I was like, that camera's going to fall. So forgive me there. Hope everybody's doing good. Thank you for spending time with us. We've got a great show tonight. I am very excited about this, and I'll tell you why. Cale Dodds has been, I consider him a friend of mine. He's been a friend of mine. He came to visit with me in Georgia, and obviously he's from there. And we were just visiting. This kid he's electric. He really is. He's got a lot of good positive energy in him, and we do need that, especially this time of year, because we are struggling right now as Americans, as anybody in 2020. You're just looking for that positivity, and that's where you're going to find it with this guy. Cale is a talented singer. He's a songwriter, and we're going to get caught up with him. If you haven't met him for the first time, prepare to meet a good friend, because that's exactly what you're going to end up coming out of this deal with, and somebody I think you're going to really dig the music and dig his vibe. He's got a great sense of humor. So let's bring him on to the old program. Look at there.
Woo!
There. The man, the myth, the legend, and that beard. Good Lord.
Quarantine. This is quarantine.
That's what quarantine does. I couldn't do that if someone held a gun to my head.
What's funny is I've been trying so hard my whole life to do this and couldn't grow anything except this. And then all of a sudden quarantine hit and I stayed inside where no one sees me. And it's like, man, we'll give you this beard now. So it's patchy, but it works. You know what I mean?
I would give anything to be able to have just that patchy. Right now, it just looks like a 17-year-old trying too hard.
Me or you?
Me. Oh God, no! You got a full beard, son. I can't do that.
Well, the good
I look like a teenager trying too hard.
Well, you probably, when you shave though, you just get to go straight around, right?
I do. I actually, it's one of those shavers I can hold with 3 fingers, and it really does. It just goes just like this, and I can go just. I mean, it is so quick. So that is the advantage of not having to have to shave every day.
Not have to buy shampoo or conditioner. I mean, I haven't had a haircut since March. I mean, this thing
that's moppy.
Religious.
That is moppy. I am digging that. So what's been going on in your world in the how many years has this been? So, I mean, how long have we been home? I think it's since 2017 we've been at home. So what's been going on in your world?
A lot of writing, a lot of monotony, a lot of house projects. That's for sure. I've found a new respect for the term house project for sure. I mean, every day, like I said, it's like a climbing the mountain of defeat of when we're getting out of this thing, and finding new challenges for myself. I haven't worn a pair of jeans since March 22nd. Just literally.
It's funny that you actually know the date.
Well, I remember specifically. It was the 2 days after my brother's birthday, and it was my last co-write in person. And I just remember I was like, we haven't done anything. I've played more shows like this in athleisure than I thought I ever would. You know what I mean? And it's just, to me, it's the craziest thing because it feels like it's been a month, and It feels like it's been 9 months, but it's like, it's wild to me that we're in mid-October and here we are.
3/4 of this year has been spent indoors, and from what they're saying, we won't get normal concerts back till probably not even. Fingers crossed, it'll be in the summertime of next year.
Right.
But I'm hearing it may be next fall before we get normal stuff back.
Yeah, it's just weird to think that doesn't exist. You know what I mean? Like it's one of those things to always be striving. I need to be doing this. I need to be doing that. But when this doesn't exist, literally, it's like, I guess I need to be better at everything else. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, you were telling me before we went on, you were like, I don't even know what I can do now, because so you write every day and you're trying to find things to do. But if it went away tomorrow, what would you do?
Yeah. I mean, I guess that's the big question is like, there's is all of the unknowns, I mean,
right.
I guess what keeps me motivated, we were joking about it earlier. Like to me, I'm an open book. I have no problem saying, like, to me, it's like I get this like every 5-day funk or every 5-day slump, and it's like, for 4 days I'm on top of the mountain. I'm getting time at home to be better at this and work on better songs, more time in the studio, and then it's like, the 5th day comes around, and I'm like, I think I could start an app. You know what I mean? In tech, or something. And it's just like, it's just a matter of, I think just keeping the arrows in the quiver loaded for when this thing does lift, and I plan on putting out a ton of music. I mean, sorry, I got something. I think I speak for myself, but a handful of other artists too, where it's like, I've been like not putting out music for this reason, but I've been like, we've all been kind of waiting to put out more music because we keep thinking it's going to be not back to normal completely, but there's
getting back that way.
Yeah. Because, you put out music and then tour. And then it's like, well, if we're not touring, well, let's just wait to put it out and then tour. And it's like, well, we're not touring at all until even mid-2021. It's like, well, we need to put out music and continue to do, whether it's virtual or, the distance, some of the drive-in things, whatever the case, we just need to plan for that. So we just actually had a big meeting last night about just like going over songs and like, okay, well, if we're going to be doing this for longer and who knows, let's proceed, forgive me. Let's proceed as in,
Well, but it's kind of weird because you probably have all these people that have all these ideas. So you say you got a team of people trying to come up with the ideas of what we're going to do in case of this. Okay, well, if this goes this way, then what do we do? If this goes this way, what do we do? Right. I would be completely beside myself, if I had talent like you, then I would be wondering, going, well, what am I going to do? How am I going to show this gorgeous face in front of other people if no one can see me?
Right. Yeah.
And I
with a beard, and it's like, I'm at home.
I've got this wonderful beard that scientists can calibrate their instruments by, and no one can see it.
And I have to cover it up with a mask on top of that.
Right, exactly. And we're making it worse because I can't show how pretty I am. And there's so many people that don't understand.
Exactly. There's my frustration.
I completely get it. Are you going to jump in and get involved in some of the drive-in shows?
Yeah, we've been talking about it. Again, it was one of those things where it was like, man, that's a great idea for the time being because this won't last long. And then it was like, well, let's just plan the tours for after that. And I just think we're getting back to, well, we need to embrace that this is going to be here a minute, maybe however much longer. But yes, to answer your question, we're trying to figure out now how to do those and what's the best, safest way to do it in markets, that I've done well in, and even markets I haven't played yet. I'd love to continue to build kind of like I've been doing the past few years.
You have a drive-in here. I'll be more than happy to put you on here.
That'd be awesome. Have you guys been doing shows?
No, but I am working on that. I think that's something that we got going on because we do have a drive-in here, and awesome. I am actually working on that idea. So, and you'd be on my short list to make that happen. But no, that is something we've been kicking around. So I'm glad to see you would be in for that. We have a couple places that we could do that because we actually have a place out here. There's a guy that owns the Big Texan.
Okay.
The Big Texan is a restaurant here. It's a touristy restaurant, and it's the home of the 72-ounce steak.
72 ounces?
You heard that correctly. It's 72 ounces. That is 5 pounds of meat.
Do you win a car if you finish the whole thing?
No, but you don't have to pay for it. That's the big thing.
Oh, you'll pay for it.
Oh, yeah, you'll pay for it. Many, many ways. But yeah, 72. But that's not the only thing you have to eat, Cale. You have to eat the 72-ounce steak. There's a salad and a baked potato, huge baked potato, and there's a whole bunch of it, like a piece of bread and all. You have to eat that in an hour.
Oh, it's timed.
Of course. Timed. It's not like something you can like come back to, like split it out in 3 meals. You have to eat this in an hour. But there are people that have come from all over the world. They put you up on this stage up in the restaurant, and they put you on a timer and everything, and you eat in front of everybody. Now, granted, I would never do it. I could never pull it off. but there are people that come from all over the world to eat there.
Wow.
Just so they can try that. But my point was, the man that owns that has an entertainment venue that we could do a socially distanced thing at too. So
gotcha.
One of those ideas that we've been kicking around. Well, good. So you said you've been writing a lot. What's been on the table? What have you been doing?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I've got a setup upstairs. It's like a makeshift home studio, and I've just been trying to really get out of my element, out of my out of my comfort zone, trying different things. And when will I ever have the time to truly explore in a studio space like I am right now? And some of that stuff has come out great. Some of it's a little left of center, which maybe we'll end up tracking it. But it's been fun, and it's been a challenge, and it's creatively pushed me to do things that, I've been touring so hard over the past few years that I'll pack a bag. I haven't unpacked a suitcase, like truly unpacked a suitcase, in years. And so it's like I'll come home on Sunday nights and write Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, go to bus call Wednesday night, play shows Thursday, Friday, Saturday, travel home Sunday, and eat, sleep, repeat. And it's the life I signed up for, but it's been like that for years, and it's been great. But I haven't had a time where I've truly just sat and truly just dove into creativity in a way that I feel is it's challenging me and pushed me to do things that are kind of beyond the limits of what I'm used to, which has been a fun challenge.
Well, I mean, and if you're learning to do other things, so like you're learning maybe the producer's part of it, or digging in and learning how to the Pro Tools part of it, trying to figure out, okay, why does this? If you got time to mess with that, then yeah, that's perfect, because that just builds your creativity.
Right.
So you've been writing with other people, right? Do the Zoom writes?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, the Zoom writes were weird at first, but I've actually kind of grown to dig them.
A lot of people have said that.
I mean, you kind of, don't get me wrong, I love co-writing. I love being in the room and the energy and vibe of everybody in the room. Mm-hmm. But man, there's something about Zoom or being co-writing on the computer. You have to concentrate on the song, and everybody. I mean, there's really no. I mean, you can catch up for a minute, at first, but there's really a lot of. I feel like the quality of song, and not every time, but majority, the quality of song is better, because that's all you really can do is concentrate on making the song better. There's no, going and seeing people in the hall and stopping you at the coffee machine and we're taking a phone call because your publisher's outside. Like, it's just it is about the song. Mm-hmm. And I mean, I feel like that's going to carry over. I mean, maybe not for everybody every day, but I do feel like a lot of co-writes will continue. I mean, I've been writing with people from LA, from Nashville, and I write with people from LA when they come to Nashville, but never, while they're in LA and I'm in Nashville.
In LA?
Yeah.
I had asked everybody this question. Have you felt that maybe you think 2021 is going to pop out a bunch of really standout music because people have had time to really sit and they're not pushing, they're not pushing stuff off the wheel. They really are, like you just said, I'm concentrating on putting out the very best that I can do. So do you really think you think we should get a good crop of 2021 music that would be a lot of this quarantine product?
I do. I think 2021 is going to produce albums and singles and definitely more content from artists than it's going to be a wave, I feel like, especially in Q1, Q2 or Q2, Q3, sorry, that we haven't seen. I'll be interested to see the Spotify or any DSP analytics of just music release at Q2, Q3 of 2021 versus the past 5-10 years, because everyone's just been writing so much.
So what's the label been telling you? Like, what have they been saying? Just
it's kind of just I mean, everyone's in the same boat, so they're kind of going, hey, stand your ground, keep doing what you're doing, where everyone's still trying to figure it out, encouraging, but it's just like, everyone's kind of doing the same thing, going, keep doing everything you can right now, whether it's the songs or socials or whatever the case, we can do those. So, everything's just so touring based. We base album releases and music releases around touring and shows. So it's hard to really game plan. But they're just saying the kind of the same thing that we are. As far as like just the encouragement of keep sending us songs, and there's Zoom meetings and phone calls and whatnot. But it's a lot of hurry up and wait. Beyond everyone's control.
Yeah, and then you're just sitting there with boxes of Cale Dodds merchandise.
Yeah, I just started wearing it at one point. I was like, it's just going to collect dust. I might as well.
Get it out to people who put it on their backs.
Garth wears his hoodies. I can wear mine, right?
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly. I have a Garth Brooks hoodie. I don't have a Cale Dodds hoodie. I'd wear a Cale Dodds hoodie if I had one.
It sounds like we need to send you one.
By golly, yes, you do. So since you're working on new music, and a lot of folks who are probably joining us along the Alpha Country Radio Station network here may not be familiar with you, Cale. So kind of give them, I know this is kind of a cheesy interview question I hate to do, but I really want people to know who you are. So I know who you are, but some people may not be familiar with how you got to where you are at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I grew up in Columbus, Georgia, and I had a dad that took me fishing every weekend in a little John boat that, we listened to country music while we were fishing. And I had a mom who kept it on top 40 when she drove us to school. So I kind of had this mixture of kind of like a pop ear with a country lyric lifestyle. And I just growing up, it took me forever to figure out how to fuse the two. And, I listened to guys like Petty and Will Hoge at first that like kind of made sense of both worlds to me. And then I saw Garth on TV, live in Central Park, and just showed me that there was a country guy putting on a rock show. And I was like, well, that's a game changer. And the bar is high, and the parents weren't musical. They just loved music. So they would just constantly play music, around the house and in the car and, while we were fishing. And I made a trip to Nashville when I was about 17 and realized that it didn't matter what I do, I have to be here. Must be present to win type thing. And I didn't realize it was such a culture of a synergy that I needed as a creative. And I never co-wrote until I moved to Nashville. So it was education, and it took coming here to continue to hone in and find my sound and what it is that I wanted to do and how I wanted to say it and what I wanted to say. And Nashville, I credit Nashville for that, but it's definitely been an education and an experience over the past few years.
Well, it's a talent. If you think about everybody in that town has some form of talent, because even just the hundreds of times I've been in and out of that town, you always run into somebody that has a talent. And a good portion of those folks can either play an instrument or they can sing. And then some of the folks that you may never hear on the radio, I always tell people, if you get a chance to go to Nashville, walk down Lower Broadway, because you're going to hear voices and you're going to hear people singing that you'll probably never hear on the radio. But there's a lot of talent in that town that just will be right where they are. They're not ever going to be big names, but you can walk down that street. You can hear a wonderful singer. You can hear an excellent songwriter. You can hear so much talent in that town. And it's very competitive. I mean, it's the NFL of music. You are in the 1%.
Right. Yeah, it's true. I mean, I always make the joke, but I tell people who are not familiar with Nashville, or, maybe have only been a few times. And it's funny because I do believe it's true, but I just say, just remember, the guy making your coffee at Starbucks is probably a better guitar player than you are. Yeah. Really. I mean, it continues to blow my mind. I mean, it's just ongoing. You figure out, wait, you write songs I didn't know you were that good of a singer. I thought you just worked at Kroger, you know what I mean? Or whatever it is. And
you're stocking shelves of clothes and you're one of the best drummers that play in town. Yeah. I mean, they're all over the place.
Yeah.
And it's really cool to see all that talent. The joke I always made was if you throw a banjo up in the air anywhere on Lower Broadway, whoever caught it could play it.
That's a solid assessment.
But it's the truth.
Yeah,
it's the absolute truth. And so you grew up around music. Parents weren't musical, but what got you going into it? You thought, okay, this is a game I want to get into. You got to remember, like, I always tell everybody this same analogy. It's the 1% of people who ever touch a football play in the NFL. And I look at the music the same way, because think of how many people, I mean, I get probably a dozen unsolicited pieces of music every day from artists trying to make it.
Yeah.
And, the further you go up the food chain, whether being in Dallas or Atlanta or wherever I was, the further up the food chain you go, the more amount of music someone sends you. And there's so many people out there doing what you're doing. And what people don't get, what makes Cale Dodds different than anybody else? As like you were saying, the guy that, the barista that made your coffee,
right?
Better guitar player. What makes Cale Dodds different?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like, because I ask myself that all the time, as far as like seeing those people, like, that guitar player, or like, for, the guy that cut my hair for years. I mean, I asked what he did on the side, his passions and stuff. He never said drummer. And it was like only like 2 months ago that I realized he was a phenomenal drummer, that he just loves to play with his buddies on the side. But it wasn't that I wasn't inquisitive about him or his life. He just never brought it up. But he was phenomenal. But I feel, because, and where I'm going with this, to answer your question full circle, it's like I question myself with, like, well, why don't those guys do it full time? Why don't they bring it up, or why don't they go for it? And I just feel like it's in some people to do, and it's not a choice,
right,
not to do. You know what I mean? And then other people just truly enjoy it as a hobby and want to keep it that way. I think for people like me, I speak for myself at least, it started out as a passion and a hobby. But then it's like the sailor in the sea. Like, you can leave, but you can't not think about going back. And so I feel like I've never had a choice. Like, it's just in me. And that's what separates me, is I'm an entertainer and a performer and a writer. And everything that comes out of me is a mixture of being from my voice and my creativity and my art. And yes, I am lucky to call it a passion and a hobby, but I'm also lucky to do my passion and my hobby as a career,
Yeah, and it, like Scarface would say, every time I went out, they keep pulling me back
exactly. Another quello alla Yabamone. Yeah, exactly.
Never ask me about my business. You never ask me about my business.
Your family.
Your familia. So give everybody a taste of the medicine that is Cale Dodds. Pick a song that you want to do, and let them see the reason why you aren't cutting hair.
Let's see. How about this? Well, you just got done asking me about, like, my background and my influence and, what makes me me and all the things. I had this title. I had this title written down forever, and I brought it to some co-writers of mine, Corey Crowder, Jared Mullins, and Sarah Buxton, who I just extremely respect as writers. And I trusted them with this idea to help me with, because to me it helped that they knew me really well, and they knew exactly just how to help get out of me what it was. And I literally just ended up talking, and that really is pretty much, they helped just shape that whole idea. But it's called Where I Get It From. And the whole concept of the song is, for people, like, that are viewing right now, if they don't know me, you can hear this song, and at least it's a tongue-in-cheek kind of approach to a self-biography of just, well, here's a little bit of information about me, that was the whole concept of it. So it's called Where I Get It From.
Ladies and gentlemen, Cale Dodds. I'm going to get out of the
Well, the city ain't made for a pickup truck. The interstate is the only place you get stuck. It just ain't smart. There's nowhere to park, but I do wherever I want to. Yeah, I'm a chip off the old block. I pick on a gold top, a little mix of Outcast, Cash, and old rock. And don't stop if I'm gonna have one, son. You know I'm gonna have a few. Where I get it from, I ain't the only one. That's a product of a down-home raising. That's a thing about me that ain't changing. No, it ain't my fault. Don't know how to turn it off. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, then go down south. You'll find out where I get it from, where I get it from. That's why I'm cracking something cold when the day is done. Down yonder where the Chattahoochee River runs. That's where I get it from, that's where I get it from. Well, it's a fixin' to, not about to. It's a hold my beer and let me show you how to. I ain't looking for a fight, but I'm down to. And if we take it outside, there ain't no round two. Where I get it from, I ain't the only one. That's a product of a down-home raising. That's the thing about me that ain't changing. It ain't my fault, I don't know how to turn it off. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, then go down south and you'll find out where I get it from, where I get it from. That's why I'm cracking something cold when the day is done. Down yonder where the Chattahoochee River runs. That's where I get it from, that's where I get it from. The apple don't fall too far from the tree, so it ain't hard to see where I get it from. I ain't the only one who's out here living this song of the South. Sweet potato pie and I shut my mouth. It ain't my fault, don't know how to turn it off. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, then go down south. You'll find out where I get it from, where I get it from. That's why I'm cracking something cold when the day is done. Down yonder where the Chattahoochee River runs. That's where I get it from, that's where I get it from.
Woo! The funny part, everybody.
Thank you.
Now, what I was told was that you were never to swim in the Chattahoochee River. The whole time I lived in Georgia, they said don't ever get in the river.
Yeah, my kids will have 6 toes for sure.
No, exactly. That's what I said. And I've heard, well, not, I can't say it on here, but there's a certain phrase that talking about the Chattahoochee that there's just reasons not to get in it. Totally. And I see people who I'm still friends with from Georgia that float that thing all the time. And I'm just like, I was told never get in that water. I don't. Dallas told me, our friend Dallas McKay told me, never get in the water. Spoken from, yeah.
I was baptized in it, so I get it.
Are you really?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, I still, when I go through Mont Eagle, I can still pick up a FM station around certain mountains. It's real.
Yeah. I hear things. I don't know. Sometimes at night I glow. And I don't really know why.
Sometimes things just levitate when I point at them. I'm not sure about that either.
Never made sense to me.
Right.
You do have a couple people hopping on here, and I want to say you have some buddies jumping on.
Oh, Warner. Hey, y'all check out that guy. This guy's crushing. This guy. So I love this dude. He's a great producer, and he's gone to all these country artists. Myself, Dustin Lynch, Chase Rice, Hunter Phelps, and he's taken their singles and doing remixes. Right. And they're awesome. And I mean, they're fantastic. And he's actually just moved to Nashville. We're going to start writing soon. Great dude, but y'all check him out because he's got all these great remixes of all these country songs, and they're just fun to turn up at parties. And it's a good dude. So yeah, he said he was catching you on Hometown Station. So I guess so. Oh, that's right. Okay. Wherever he is he must be catching it on the network wherever it's coming through. Wow, crazy small world. Absolutely. So my midday guy, his name is Caleb. He had a question for you, and I know you've been on a lot of great ones. What's the most fun you've had on tour? Sorry, what's the most fun tour you've been on so far? Man, I have to say, I've been really lucky to be on some great ones. But man, I spent majority of last year on tour with Chase Rice, and man, from Chase to his crew to his band, it was like summer camp every weekend. I mean, they're just so much fun all the time. There were pranks. There was just bus hopping and camaraderie, and our space is your space, and it was just great. I mean, it was truly like a summer camp. It was the saddest last day of tour I've ever had. So
wow,
and that was actually the last show I played, December 19th, I believe, of last year. So yeah.
Well, I got to watch you do a really big show just before I left Atlanta. You got to play at Mercedes-Benz Stadium.
Oh man, talk about bucket list.
That was one of those. Now you think about this, guys, for those who don't associate with, Mercedes-Benz Stadium is where the Atlanta Falcons play. It's where the Atlanta United play, and it probably seats about 70,000-ish. And it was full. They had a 2-day music festival, and Cale was one of the opening acts that played. And it was absolutely mind-boggling to see you on that stage. That had to have been that. What was that moment like? I saw you briefly because, like, we saw each other in passing.
Right.
They were toting you on a golf cart as I was walking backstage, and it was just like I think you were in a completely different headspace.
Yeah.
I never really got to catch up with you since then. But that had to have been one of those things where you go, okay, I don't give two shits what I've done. That marked off something really big.
100%. I mean, that I'll never forget that night. I mean, I grew up in Georgia, so I grew up going to, Turner Field and just, watching the Falcons play, watching the Braves play, and just always dreaming and envisioning yourself on the stage, at a level where, you're playing stadiums and arenas, and that's been my goal since I was 12 is to be a stadium artist. So clearly have a little ways to go, but the fact that was the first stadium and taste of it, if you will, to be in Georgia just made it that much sweeter, especially with fellow Georgian like Sam Hunt,
right.
Who was.
But you played a big night with a lot of huge artists. I mean, you played in a full house, so there's a lot of folks that saw you.
It was awesome, man. Just everything top to bottom from that whole day was just incredible, honestly. And we left that night, drove through the night on the bus to play a sold-out show in Florida with Chase Rice, met back up with that tour. So just that whole weekend was just one long hangover. You know what I mean?
Yeah. What I remember of it, they said I had a good time. It was a lot of fun, though. I mean, and I do remember, but that was one of the highlights. But your music has been, and I know you have a big fan base around, obviously in the Georgia area, and you're starting to build out that fan base. Where are some of the places that stick out in your mind when you were out on tour with Chase? What are these places that like stand out going, okay, when I can get back out on my own, I want to go back to X?
That's a great question. The first one that comes to mind, actually, ironically enough, it is the one after that show we played in November at Mercedes. It was the House of Blues in Orlando, I believe. House of Blues. I for just a couple of reasons. I just feel like I'd never even been to it, but I've seen a bunch of footage from it, and I've tried to go to a bunch of shows to it, and they were all sold out growing up because it wasn't like a horrible drive from Georgia. But the fact that our first show there was a sold out show with Chase was just a special day, and the crowd was wild. Another one for me was actually both of these are House of Blues, ironically enough, in California. What is it? Not in LA. What is it? Help me out. Where's Disneyland or Disneyland? Anaheim. There it is. Sorry, I was falling short there. Again, that whole tour was a blur in the best way.
Yeah, exactly.
That crowd in Anaheim was just kind of unreal. It was a hell of a night. When you sell it out there, they give you a skateboard on the wall. It's kind of a cool thing to do. And I just got to see anyone from obviously Chase to, older country acts to, pop acts to rap acts. And it was just like, man, I want a skateboard on that wall, so.
And House of Blues is such a nice venue anywhere you go. Right. I mean, they're all over the country, but yeah, those are great venues to play. The sound is always good. I mean, the sound, yeah. the sound of the music coming out good, but man, that crowd just sounds so good in that room. I don't know who designed it, but they do sound familiar. Hey, your buddy Greg had some nice words for you. I think he's parting words here.
Oh, come on. That's super nice. Dude, love you, Greg. You're the man. I appreciate that, brother.
Household name. I concur. You've got you've gotten to pick up a lot of experience over the last several years, because you've actually gotten a chance to do a lot of big things like the Mercedes-Benz stuff and being out with Chase. Who's the one person that really kind of minus Chase Rice? I know you and Chase are buddies, but who's really stood out to you to be kind of a mentor that you feel like you could pick up the phone and go, I got a question?
Oh, that's a good one. I mean, obviously me and Chase, like you said, have a great relationship, and could definitely bend his ear because he's gone through the ringer of, to, his own and being on tour with Kenny and all that. Because it's interesting you say that about him, because Kenny and Jake are those guys for him. He always talks about the importance of having those guys. I'd have to say, even though we haven't played a ton of shows together, we've done a couple festivals, but Tyler Hubbard's definitely been a guy for me, for sure, from Florida Georgia Line. I would also have to say, we, especially being two Georgia guys, I met him when I moved to town, and it was shortly after he moved to town, but I was touring with him when he had no record deal and wasn't on – neither of us had record deals or were going to radio at all. He just put out this mixtape. But Sam Hunt has definitely been just a great ear and influence over the years too, especially watching as things have just taken off from him. And we're both in vans touring our first tour, and that's been awesome. So I'd say Sam for sure. I
don't know how he fits in a van.
Yeah, all 6'5".
You don't realize Sam Hunt is very tall. Used to be a quarterback, Georgia State, wasn't it?
I think it was Alabama State.
Alabama State, that's right.
Yeah.
Alabama State. Anyway, Sam Hunt is very tall. Is 6'4", 6'5" tall. And I don't know how that guy could have comfortably ever been in anybody's van.
Right. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. He's a big old Georgia boy, right? Isn't he Georgia boy too? Yeah.
Yeah. He grew up about an hour north of me.
Yeah, come on. 70% of like the big joke is 70% of the charts from Georgia. The other part are from Texas.
I'm telling you, you got to swim in that Chattahoochee River water and figure out what it is.
That's what it is. That's exactly what it is.
That and the peanut oil and the Chick-fil-A chicken sandwiches, that's for sure has something to do with it.
They put an addictive chemical in there that makes you crave it nightly.
Man,
especially it'll kick off on Saturday night, and then you have to wait until Monday morning. They know exactly what they're doing, because I don't care about I do love Chick-fil-A, but I don't really actually crave it till it's Saturday night at 9:00, and then I can't have it until Monday, and then it's gone. So for 24 hours, I'm peeling the paint off the walls, because all I want's nuggets. I want some nugs. I'm just asking for something simple. I ain't hurting nobody. I want some waffle fries.
Some chick. That's all you want.
That's all I need. And I'm not asking for a lot. And there's sometimes where I will actually buy an extra one, especially if we do it on a Saturday.
Oh yeah.
And then you get the mac and cheese. That's like eating grandma's mac and cheese. I don't care who you are. That's grandma's mac and cheese. That was blessed by someone in the clergy. I don't know who did it, but that mac and cheese is blessed by someone in the clergy, because it's got that baked cheese on top of it.
That only a grandma can make.
It's drive home and slap your mama in the face good. It is really good. And I will say, sometimes I'll buy an extra just in case it hits me on a Sunday. Then I've got,
that's a pro move. That's a pro move.
Yeah, right. Take some notes. Feel free to, when you write my book, feel free to credit. I get the credit. Who will play me in the movie?
Yeah.
Let's get to the last song. So there's, I tried to get you. I want to at least get 2 songs in, because we get to rattling and I forget about. There's actual music.
Time flies.
Well, it does. Time flies when you're bored. So, tell me about the last song. What are you going to dazzle our fans with?
I'm gonna play. I'm gonna play what was probably the last song that we closed out the tour with last year, and also the song that was the last song I was bringing to you in Atlanta. And this was a song that you believed in very, very early on.
Yeah.
And thank you for it, because everybody on here knows this, I'm sure, because this is your show. But Scott, you are one of the real ones, man, and I'm very grateful for you, not only to call you a friend, but you were just one of the real guys in this business, and I'm very appreciative of that. And you believed in this song, one of my first radio visits with this song, and you were on board early, and I appreciate that.
Always, man. It's always good to be able to back someone who, and I've been a firm believer of just music, but a firm believer in just good people and good talent. And I'm not blowing smoke just because you're sitting here, man. I told you this when we were sitting at dinner. There's something special about you that people will, just like your friend Gregory said, there's something special about you that will, in a matter of time, everyone will know. They'll say, I knew Cale Dodds when. And Lou and I, one of my dear friends, Lou and I both just would fight tooth and nail for you because I firmly believe in you that much. So, I mean, as you say that, it's not just smoke and mirrors. It is true, but I love the job that we get to do. I get just as passionate about it as for anybody. But when I see that passion, and I see that the fire that they have, that they want to be successful, I treat you guys no different. Like I came up. It's funny. I text Dan and Shay the same way I text, like when they'll finish and get an award or something, I text them like their dads, and they're like going, I expect to hear, like when they win an award, they like one of the texts they expect to get sometime within the next 24 hours comes from me. I'm so proud of these guys, and I treat you guys like my kids because I'm proud of your accomplishments.
Yeah,
it makes me proud, and so I ate up into your time here. But
thank you for saying that, because everyone speaks the same about you, man. You are that guy. You do send the text.
I do, and and it does mean something, because when you get to have the friends and you step out, I don't get to, you don't get to send Blake a text anymore. Back in the day, you could. But you get these guys that in 35 years, I've met a lot of people, been around a lot of folks, and saw a lot of people come up. And so it's just cool to get a chance to spend some time with somebody who's got that fire and that passion to go the whole way. And halfway isn't an option. So that's what sells you. That's what sells you to me every day.
Thank you, man. That means a lot.
You're very welcome. Let's play that hit song.
This is my last song. The song's called I Like Where This Is Going. Down a two-lane with no name, I'm halfway to your place, watching wheat fields bend while the slow dance wind is blowing. When I pull up, I see you in a sundress with your sun-kissed shoulder showing. I like where this is going. The stars ain't starting to glow, but we both know that they're all coming. The cork's still stuck in the bottle, but that bottle's in your hand. Needle ain't on the vinyl yet, but I'm dropping it. You're already starting to dance. It kind of feels like this whole night is in slow motion. I like where this is going. If I had to guess what would happen next, it'd be your head on my chest, while the clock on the wall, it stands still like it's broken. Maybe one kiss turns into two, turns into me, waking up with you in the morning. Yeah, I like where this is going. The stars ain't starting to glow, but we both know that they're all coming. Cork's still stuck in the bottle, but that bottle's in your hand. Needle ain't on the vinyl yet, but I'm dropping it. You're already starting to dance. It kind of feels like this whole night is in slow motion. I like where this is going.
eyes ain't starting to glow. We both know that they're all coming. Cork still stuck in the bottle, but that bottle's in your hand. We don't land on the vinyl yet, but I'm dropping it. We're already starting to dance. It kind of feels like this whole night is in slow motion. I like where this is going. I like it, yeah, I like it. I like where this is going. I like it, yeah, I like it. I like where this is going. I like it, yeah, I like it. I like where this is going. I like it, yeah.
Look at that. I love it.
Good night, London.
So last Tuesday, when I was visiting with Preston and Chris from Mokash, they just hung out. Yeah, they didn't perform. It was just we just shot the bull, and that was the day that Eddie Van Halen died.
Oh man!
And so we were just all like, everybody was in a funk. It was a horrible night because none of us really we were all just had the wind sucked out of us. And I saw you do that.
That's my little tribute. We used to walk out to Panama, walk out on stage to Panama.
Of course you do.
It pumped you up, and
you do. That's a sign. I love everybody putting up stuff like TikToks and all these videos of them playing, guitar or somebody playing drums.
Did you ever see them live?
Oh God, dude, probably a dozen times, if not more.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I spent a ridiculous amount of money on a ticket one time. I only went by myself. My wife didn't go with me because the tickets were so expensive. And I waited to the last minute to do it. And it was in Dallas. And it was the last tour of the original lineup.
Wow.
And it was really no, I'm sorry. I'm lying. Michael Anthony was not on that tour. It was the first tour that Wolfie was on.
Oh, yeah. That's awesome.
And they were still good. David Lee Roth talked everything. He didn't sing anymore. He just talked. Yeah, he talked the words. It was because he didn't have that vibrato. He didn't have that Sammy thing. Oh, we could go for days on this. Sammy's. Right. We were just talking about Sammy's a better singer. David Lee Roth's a better performer. Like David Lee Roth has the showman quality.
Right.
Sammy doesn't have that. Sammy's 72 years old and can sing the paper off the walls to this very day. So there.
I love it.
All right. Hold on, Cale. Hold on, Cale. Caleb had one last thing to add.
We can't be friends. Caleb, I'm sorry. But the good news is our names are very similar. You have the B. I don't have the B. Spelled different, but pronounced the same. So there will be no confusion there. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Just know. Yeah. He has a wonderful family. In fact, he's got a little girl just turned a year old too. So yeah,
that's awesome.
He's got a young little family just like I do.
I was gonna say you guys are pulling double daddy daycare duty. I love it.
We are. We thought about starting one because he brings Kelly up here and I could bring Landry up here, and it's just then we could just start the daycare.
Yeah, side hustle.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Yeah. People ask, because we don't have the office open yet. We're still closed because of COVID. Right. And I come up here half day. So there's some people that will be here in the morning, some people here in the afternoon. And I come in the afternoon. And there's why do you go there? Well, my son has a very different nap schedule. And I've tried to have meetings at home where you're doing the Zoom meeting and you're going, shh, you're talking, or he's awake and he's just talking. He's not saying anything. He's just babbling. And he's in that where he likes the sound of his own voice. I don't know where he would have gotten that, but he loves the sound of his own voice and he'll squeal for no reason. But best thing to ever happen.
My girlfriend says the same thing about me when she's on conference calls. It's the exact same verbiage. Yeah.
You're like, well, but you know what? And when my wife would do those she's now stay-at-home mom, before she'd do those, I would always think of the things that I needed to tell her, but only during the Zoom call.
Right. Yeah.
I need to tell Candace, because your girlfriend's name's Candace, right?
Yeah, good memory.
Yeah, exactly. That's my wife's name. That's why I'm like, okay, hold on.
Wow. Yeah.
But yes, and I was like, okay, well, I got to write this down because only the times that I think about, why do I should tell her that? Oh, I can hear her on the, okay. Well, I'll write it down. Then I'll never remember.
Exactly.
But Cale, it was good catching up with you. Please give my very best to the family.
Absolutely. You too, man.
I hope everything it'll turn around. I know it will.
I have faith.
I do. I have faith. It's just it's difficult, you know. And I was telling everybody, like Blake Shelton and Kenny and Luke and all these other guys who have bars downtown Nashville don't have to worry about taking the year off.
Yeah, they probably enjoy it.
Yeah, and they don't have to worry. That's not a problem for them. But for the guys that are riding right on the bubble, like you said, do I need to get my real estate license? You know, is it one of those? What do I need to do to make sure that that they don't cut my power off? During the middle of one of my live sessions,
live streams, right?
And like all of a sudden, I'm sorry, Nashville Power has decided to cut me off. And I have to live in a tent in my living room, and we have to, we have to eat hot dogs that we have to, cook outside.
Sounds like tour.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. But man, I appreciate you hanging out with me. Thank you so much for doing that. And if there's anything that ever we could do, please feel free to reach out. I would obviously, when we get back to a weird touring lifestyle, whatever that might be, I'd love to have you.
Absolutely.
Direction.
So I would love that. Well, thank you, man. Thanks for having me on and the whole Alpha Media team. And let's do it again soon, man. Tell Caleb I said hey. Tell Candace I said hey. I'll tell my Candace that your Candace also said hey.
Absolutely. We can do
one day
with the Candaces together.
Exactly.
Sometime. And absolutely. But it was great seeing you. Thank you for visiting with us. And I'll catch up with you soon, man. Thank you so much.
Sounds good, Scott. Take care, man.
Thanks, buddy. Wasn't that fun? Cale Dodds is a good kid. That's why I like him. And that kid and I go way back, and I really love spending time with him. Hopefully, you got some time to get to know him. He's a good kid. Really is a good kid, and we spent a lot of time together. Spent almost an hour together. And what's so sad is I always usually tell their managers, it's like 30 minutes, we'll be in and out. That usually doesn't how it work. But fortunately, Cale's a good guy. Join us next week. Next week is going to be, we'll have another guest here in the lounge. Trace Atkins will be the guest in the lounge next week. So we're very excited about that. And we will be definitely spending some time with the big man. We'll have to get a wider camera. The man is humongous. So we'll spend a little time with Trace Atkins next Tuesday night in the lounge. So write that down. We'll be very excited about that. And in fact, we are booked all the way through to Thanksgiving, I believe. I may have one open date, but I think that one's on hold. But I'm working on that right now. So I'm very excited with the fact that this is going so well. Thank you to everybody along the Alpha Media Network who carry this on their websites and on the YouTube channels. And it means a lot to me that you guys believe in the show. So thank you so much. All the radio stations, all the program directors that I work with, thank you so much for doing this because it means a lot. So thank you guys for joining us. Like I said, join us next Tuesday night, and we'll have Trace Atkins on. We'll be catching up with him and finding out what's been going on in his world. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you back here next Tuesday night as we visit the live lounge again. Have yourself a great night. Thanks.